Okay, hey guys, welcome to a live. I got Charmaine and we have Melissa from American Justice and Charmaine from True Crime Story Podcast. Is that what it is called? True Crime Story? I was brain blank.
That's it. Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
it.
that's
Okay.
it.
Anyways, you guys, I know it's been a little bit since I've done a live, and that's okay for me because I've just been resting, watching cheesy Hallmark movies, enjoying some Christmas time to myself. There's not a lot that's going on with Jack and Lily's case, and it's not like I forget about them or don't think about them every single day because I do, but I just need a little bit of a break. It's been over 7 months now since Jack and Lily went missing on May 2nd of 2025, and it's been a long haul. And I work full time, and it's I'm just needing a bit of a break, and I got stuff to do, real life as well. So I just want you to know that I do honestly appreciate everyone that has followed or subscribed to the channel and has been a part of Jack and Lily's case since the very beginning or whatever time you came into it. So thank you guys very much for like the love and support to the channel. And like I said, it's just that it's getting on Christmas time, and I just needed simply a break. And okay. Hi, my babies are my number ones, 5 months member. Thank you so much. And I see, I just want to quickly say this. I see Belinda's in the house. There's Belinda, Shenanigans, Ben, my online husband. You guys know who that is. Nova Nana. And thank you guys all for being here, Colleen. So, like, uh, this live is going to be, of course, about Jack and Lily. But before we even get started into it, let's Charmaine and Melissa, we're just going to quickly wish Sebastian Roger. It's his birthday today. He would be 17 years old. We don't know what happened to Sebastian Rogers. We've talked about this case quite often on this channel because it's very parallel in a lot of ways to Jack and Lily's case. Sebastian disappeared February 25th was the last time he was seen of 2024. And crazy enough, we're going to be coming up to 2 years, I guess that would be. Hey, February 25th in
Yeah.
2026. That's crazy. Sebastian Rogers is autistic, and again, it's like a kid that just vanishes without a trace, and yet there's cameras, ring doorbell cameras, and it's like he just disappeared. And the actions of his mom and his stepdad are one of those ones that you raise an eyebrow at. And the gentleman in the picture is Seth Rogers. He's the biological father of Sebastian Rogers, and he's been, I mean, that man has been working every day to try to find answers for his son since it happened. He brought up his YouTube channel. He is always talking. Everything pretty much remains the same a lot in his home, with the hope that Sebastian will someday be found, returned to back home. So we don't know what happened to Sebastian Rogers. So big prayers go out to Seth Rogers and, of course, Sebastian Rogers. Where is Sebastian Rogers? What happened to him? We don't know, but it's one of those mysterious cases as well. Again, that runs parallel to Jack and Lily's. So happy birthday to Sebastian Rogers today, December 7th. Mhm. And honestly, I remembered it was his day, Melissa, because so my dog, my golden retriever died December 7th. So it's always a very hard day for me, this particular day. It was back in 2012, but this is when I love animals more than I usually love people, to be honest with you, because they just love you. They're just so sweet and kind, and they don't mouth you out. Well, sometimes maybe when they want to go outside and stuff, but my I actually still tear up whenever, or it's hard when I see a golden retriever. But anyways, so it's December 7th, and Sebastian's birthday is on December 7th. But actually, so I remembered the entire time up until today when you said to me, don't forget it's Sebastian Rogers' birthday. I'm like, oh yeah, shit. So happy birthday, Sebastian Rogers. Okay. Okay, so Jack and Lily. Um, we're going to talk about, wait, if you haven't hit that like and share, please do for Jack and Lily. Keep the momentum going out there and keep it into the algorithm. And just again, it's been a long haul. So imagine the fact that I feel like it's a long haul to the people that are part of Jack and Lily's lives that are truly wanting the answers, and they have this big hole ripped in their heart trying to understand what happened to two children, because two children just don't disappear. No children just disappear. Nobody just disappears. There's always going to be something, right, where somebody is or that somebody knows and stuff like that. So again, thank you guys all for being here. Okay, so hi, Shemaine.
Hi, Sunny.
It's been a minute.
Yes.
I-
I like to
yeah,
leave you alone this time of year because I know how you like your Hallmark and
my cheesy Hallmark
Christmas.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still like I'm just a big okay. So one of my biggest passions or one of my biggest things in life is love. So those cheesy Hallmark movies are always about love and two people finding love and stuff like that. Back in the day, I used to read Harlequin romances for the exact same reason. But I love Christmas. I love watching Christmas movies, and I like watching cheesy Hallmark movies. I mean, don't get me wrong. National Lampoon's Vacation, Christmas Vacation is iconic, and there's all those different Christmas movies. But on YouTube, I'm just pulling up the cheesy Hallmark movies. Shemaine, I doubt it, but are you ready for Christmas or getting ready for Christmas at all, or not really?
No,
No,
haven't
yeah.
even started.
Yeah, figured it. And just to ask you quickly, Charmaine, are you going to be going anywhere? Like, are you going to your daughters or anything for
Yeah,
Christmas? Or?
I'm gonna go next weekend and visit my youngest daughter, and then I'm gonna go to Lethbridge for Christmas.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. And Melissa, quickly, what about you?
I am not ready, but I don't know. It's coming, so I guess I better get ready.
It is coming. I can't believe it's the 7th already. September to December just goes by like that. I hope you guys are all, if you're not ready, I hope you guys are all in the Christmas spirit and stuff like that. Uh, Something about Christmas is that you can enjoy the lights and all the different things for a long time. I think it's most people's favorite holidays, and if it doesn't, or if it's not, then well, sucks to be you. No, just kidding. um, because in Delphi, Libby, her favorite holiday is Halloween on there, but I'm like that's like a second runner up. Thank you so much. Okay, so you guys, what we're going to talk about obviously is about this blanket. Um, so we'll get into this about the blanket. Um, but what happened yesterday is that I caught the
It,
very end of Charmaine's live where she was like muted or she was on the phone talking. And I was kind of trying to see what people were talking about in chat. And then I seen her pull up this blanket sweater. And I went back and I just grabbed a snapshot of it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to ask Brad if this belongs to his family. And so, and the reason why I thought about that was because I was like, you know what? The shirt that was burnt was on Brad's property, and people were on his property during the search. And had a picture of his son's shirt, and also like the bicycle that was found was Brad. So I just thought by chance I'll just ask Brad about the shirt. So I sent him a picture of this exact picture in front of you. And I said, hey, by chance, does this belong, to you guys? And he said, well, let me go ask my wife. And then he came back and he said, yep. And he's like, for fuck's sakes, what are people doing or, in our garbage and stuff like that? So this particular blanket and sweater belongs to his daughter. And so, and I was asking him, don't get me wrong, because I asked him too. I was like, hey, you don't happen to have a picture, of by chance with your daughter and the sweater or the blanket, and da 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 da. But I mean, honestly, it's one of those things is that's really for our purpose. But who knows if there's even a picture, of this at all? And where would they begin to look through the maybe tons of photos and stuff like that. So I had specifically asked Brad, hey, can you just send me a voice clip and I'll play it on tonight's live so that people understand that this blanket, although even Brad does not know how it ended up on Lansdowne Station, because we kind of both said that question. We're like, I wonder how it ended up on Lansdowne Station Road, or sorry, Lansdowne Road, not Lansdowne Station, because Brad lives on Lansdowne Station Road, but on Lansdowne, where it was found like miles away from his home. And he was even wondering like how, like, he was, my more concern is how did it even get over there? Because he said it was in a fire pit. So I think what I'll do quickly is I'll just quickly play his voice clip to everybody. And the whole point of this, and if you guys don't know who Brad Wong is the second person besides Justin that said about the vehicle that traveled between around 12:22 to 5 o'clock in the morning. That was in the documents. Okay. So Brad Wong is the neighbor. It's the neighbor that Daniel, and Janie are always kind of berating and belittling, basically saying like about that neighbor. But anyways, so Brad's the one that said about the vehicle, about taking 4 trips between an area of 12 to 5 in the morning. And then Justin was the one that talked about the vehicle at 1:30, about going up Gairloch Road and stuff like that. And so, yeah, so I think I'm just going to quickly, I'll show you this first. So this sweater and blanket and whatever else was in there, that was in the fire pit. And so Brad sent me a picture with the blue dot on it, because that's his home right here, to show where the fire pit was. Obviously it's near the road, but to show me where the fire pit was. Okay. And so
Honey,
I'm just, yeah.
is it possible for you to ask Brad to just see if they remember what the substance was that was splattered on it?
Yeah, of course I can ask that. It did cross my mind, not that he would know, but for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
but
might remember, like, there's like hair dye or something like that. They might remember.
yeah, I'll definitely ask. You're kind of cutting out there a little bit, Charmaine. Just FYI.
Mhm.
Or it's coming in a little. Was it his blanket in the bath mat as well, or just the sweater? No, he said. Well, obviously the bath mat, I'm sure, is not his daughter's, Daleen, but the blanket and the sweater are his daughter's. I didn't ask about the bath mat because I mean it kind of was one of those things that obviously probably the daughter doesn't own the bath mat, but it was. I'll play. Let me play the voice clip or that he sent me. Okay, and let's just quickly. I'll just do that. Video file. Okay. So I'll just play this.
Brad Wong was shown a picture from sunny Austin on December 6, 2025 at 9:40 p.m. of a blue blanket and sweater which both belonged to my daughter. We were gutting out the house and thought it wouldn't be suitable to be passed down, so it ended up in the burning pile, where they only take 4 bags on garbage day.
Okay. Did you guys all hear that? You guys all hear that okay? I'll play it one more time.
I, Brad Wong, was shown a picture from sunny Austin on December 6, 2025 at 9:40 p.m. of a blue blanket and sweater which both belonged to my daughter. We were gutting out the house and thought it wouldn't be suitable to be passed down, so it ended up in the burning pile, where they only take 4 bags on garbage day.
Okay. So again, they were gutting out the house, cleaning out the house and whatever. And like he said, that they only take 4 bags of garbage or whatever. So it ended up in the burning pile. Again, he doesn't know how it got down Lansdowne Road. I think that's kind of a mystery there. But okay, so now that I've played all that part and let you guys know, because we don't want false information out there. And, and I know that this would have ran wild. And again, I just took it upon myself to go, hey, you know what? Let me just ask Brad. And he was kind enough to, like I said, to go ask his wife, come back, and then tell me that, yeah, it does belong to them. So I can't see that someone's being deceptive about that. Brad and I have talked many times, and there's nothing about him that, again, whether it's about the vehicles driving or this, Brad's always been very kind and very nice, and with providing information and stuff like that. But anyways, so I'm gonna let Charmaine on this one. So Charmaine, again, I only kind of knew about this going on because of your live that I just caught the end of. And then, like I said, I mean, we don't want misinformation out there. So it's best just to clean it up. Right. Okay. So go on with your thoughts about this whole blanket and pictures and whatever you wanted to say today.
Oh, so, I mean, I didn't do a live because I really didn't have a whole lot to say. I am glad that Brad, that this belongs to Brad. I am. The people that watch me know the reason that I did my live stream yesterday and showed this picture is because there was a call-in show on another channel the day before where this was discussed, and it was described as a blood-soaked sweater wrapped in a towel. And I had these pictures for weeks and knew that that wasn't accurate. So I wanted to show people what we were talking about, what was being talked about on that call-in show. And so my whole purpose was to say, okay, maybe there's some kind of substance splattered, but it is far from blood soaked. And that was just kind of my way of putting out, let's see what we're talking about here. Let's not just leave something so ambiguous and damning and sensational out there hanging. So I showed my viewers, and thankfully Sunny picked it up at the very end and thought to just ask Brad, because so much of the other stuff found during that search happened to belong to Brad Wong. So, I mean, reasonable assumption, great leap to ask him, and I'm glad that we can put it to rest. Hopefully he'll be able to say, it's hair dye, or it's, a can of beans, or maybe some soot or something from the fire pit, whatever. Hopefully they'll have some insight about what those droplets could be.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
how it got there, that's a really good question. And it's unfortunate that people are going to more than likely put more to this than probably needs to, but that's just my opinion. But I'm thankful that Brad came and said what he said. That's about it.
Mara, what are the chances of a random blanket and sweater way up the road from his house ends up belonging to a dude that is accusing Daniel Martell of driving around that Thursday night? And actually, what I think is your statement actually is quite odd, to be honest with you. I think to me, this is it's kind of like common sense. I think, Mara, I think I took that as that, like, sounds to me like maybe you're listening to too much DT about the whole neighbor thing and stuff like that. And that you're thinking the opposite in a sense, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's like, Brad or Justin did not have to entertain, even talk, like saying anything at all, right? Especially Brad, but it was because of the children. It's because children are involved. He has, what is it? I think 4 children of his own. Okay. So a parent couldn't even imagine that 2 children are missing right frickin' from his neighborhood there. And that 2 people are saying that there is a vehicle. And then, so now on top of that, right, people went onto his property during the search, and that burnt shirt, so Brad said he never said anything about that, right? Although people were on his property and he wasn't asked permission, but people were on his property, but he didn't make a big deal out of it, because that's where the shirt came from that people took a picture of, was from his fire pit. So again, now why this blanket and sweater ended up way over there? Again, someone's not going to claim ownership and then we sit there and go, you know what? I had something to do with it. And so I'm just going to go randomly hide this blanket and then claim that it's mine. During the search that you guys were on, Belinda, during the search that Please Bring Me Home was on, right? But anyway, so again, people ended up, on the property and stuff like that. But it was, anyways, bottom line is I'm not into bullshit and I'm not into drama. What I'm in is to truth. And again, if Brad or people want to come forward like Justin did and talk about and say things in regards to the case, and we can debunk stuff if it's inaccurate information. That's the word I'll use, inaccurate information. We don't know that it's a bloody sweater or what's on this sweater, right? At all. But I didn't want people, like, once I asked Brad and he said, obviously it's important to bring that information to light. So if a picture comes out, right, and it's not like people thought to go, oh, you know what? Let me just ask Brad about this sweater. It's because I talked to him that I thought, you know what? There was already 2 articles that were from his yard. Like, maybe this happens to belong. So I just thought I'd send it to him and ask. When I asked, his wife came back and said, yep. And he's like, and he was basically like, for fuck's sakes, how is it people are getting into it would be the fire pit, the garbage that this was in. So how did it end up down Lansdowne Road? Who knows? But, he says his daughter owns both that sweater. I didn't ask him about the bath mat because honestly, I really honestly at the time when I was asking, I didn't really care because he already claimed that the blanket and that the a sweater were his daughter's. And so to me, it's like either it was part of it too, but who knows how it got up there? He doesn't know. But anyway, so like I said, I'm not here to sell into any of the BS out there with this case. I think that there's enough bullshit out there with Jack and Lily's case that all this channel ever cares about is that we bring out the truth and bring out the facts. And if we can, learn something and then take away that misinformation, well, then either you take it with whatever you want or you ride off with it into the sunset and make more out of it than what it, is. But at least we know who owns this or who owned it up until it ended. So anyway, Melissa, I haven't let you speak yet. So do you have anything to say that you wanted to say?
So, first of all, I see a lot of people saying it looks awful dry to have been outside. First of all, it's a picture, so it's not necessarily going to pick up if something is damp versus dripping wet. And if it's outside, frost and rain, but it can also be in the sun, which is going to dry it out. So I take no issue with the fact that it looks dry to me. But what I find sad is that because of what I see as irresponsible, and maybe that's not the right word, but careless is the right word, speaking on the DT show, put a lot of weight onto this. I too had these pictures for weeks. And there was a conversation had about it, but I think that it was definitely misrepresented when that person called in. And I think that was very careless and irresponsible of that person. And if this had something to do with Lily and Jack, if it wasn't Brad's daughter's items, say it had something to do with Lily and Jack, those comments would have been even more reckless on that show. That's what I have to say about that. But I also find it horrible that both myself and Shar today have had to tell other creators that this was not related to Jack and Lily to stop the wildfire that was coming. Because as soon as it was said that it was bloody, first of all, we don't know that it was bloody. It does have things that were suspected to have blood, but it wasn't confirmed blood, right? So to say that and then try to, well, we don't know for sure. Well, you already said that it was. So don't go then try to reverse your words, in my opinion. But creators are going to take it and run, right? The fact is, Sunny, Dar, and several other channels I don't necessarily want to list too, are about the facts. And the fact is, this was found. The fact
Yeah.
is, this cannot be proven to be blood. The fact is, this was Brad Wong's daughter's blanket and sweater. End of story. It dies there. But it shouldn't be up to creators to fix the mess that a PI created. That's all I will say on that.
Okay, I'm going to rebuttal that, and without overly knowing a lot about, say, Chrissy. Now, for me personally, I don't know all the back story behind this exact picture and stuff like that. Only that Belinda had told me about Chrissy was going to be on the DT show, talking about it or something like that. And I was just like, okay, well, like people can do whatever they want to do. But to be honest with you, I just want to say this for my own self personally. And even if you guys think differently, is that whenever there's information comes out, right? And sometimes we have to, backtrack and stuff like that. I don't really deem this as kind of like as bad as what you're making it sound like, about somebody not doing their due diligence. Now, somebody to speculate that there could be blood stains on it and stuff like that. Nobody knew about where this blanket, who it belonged to, or where it came from, but it was part of the search. And it kind of became a little bit questionable, obviously. And something about RCMP didn't want it, or didn't want to have anything to do with it, but the major crimes did. But yet, they had to bag it up and take it to them or something like that, if I'm remembering or hearing correctly about this. Now, that in itself is pathetic. I'm sorry, but it's pathetic. If something is important, get your freaking asses down there, and go freaking bag and tag it, because of chain of command and stuff like that. Now, so because nobody knew who this belonged to, right? Now, had I not asked Brad, maybe at some point Brad would have said to me, well, he wouldn't have known. Really, when he asked his wife, because obviously as mothers, we know a lot more about, the stuff in the house and stuff like that. So that's why he went to his wife to ask him. Now, this definitely would have ran rampant. But the thing is that nobody would have known, none for the better, that this had nothing to do probably with Jack and Lily's case whatsoever. And it was only because really that I spoke to Brad and asked him, because I just thought, you know what, I'm just by happenstance, I'm going to ask him. But now, would any creator be guilty or person be guilty of taking information and running with it in this case or any other case? Absolutely. But to me, when I asked Brad, then it becomes, stopping it, like stopping because it's going to spread like wildfire. And it would have, had there been no knowledge that Brad, or his daughter owned those items or was from his household. So I'm not really going to shit on anybody here, because I just think that in this whole case, now go ahead. What were you going to say, Melissa? I felt like you were just going to say something.
Well, I just want to counter your point there. I agree that this should have been turned over to RCMP. I agree this should have been collected. I agree this should have been looked at. However, in my opinion, like you said, like I said earlier, the bike was Brad's daughter's. Yeah. The shirt was from Brad Wong's property. Why was that not looked into prior to releasing it publicly? Am I saying this shouldn't have been released publicly? No, because if at that point nobody knew that this was Brad Wong's, I fully agree. Release it. Get it out there. I agree with that. But now that we know it's Brad Wong's, I hope that people will stop and say, okay, has nothing to do with it. Let's not spread it. But as a PI, I would have thought that they would have contacted Brad Wong themselves. RCMP would have contacted Brad Wong. Major Crimes would have contacted somebody else, right? Because to me, I was like you. 2 other things on the search were already connected to his property. In my opinion, Brad Wong has nothing to do with this, except for he had the decency to come forward and say, I heard cars that morning. I'm not saying Brad has anything to do with this, but I feel like it should have been looked into before it was released and said to be a bloody sweater and all this other stuff. Like, even if that meant reaching out to you and saying, hey, I know you talked to Brad Wong. You care to ask him if this is theirs? Like, how hard would that have been? And as a PI, and I'm not shitting on Chrissy, I agreed, knowing what they knew yesterday without knowing that it was Brad's, yes, it should have been released. I agree with that. But why was it not thought of before to ask you, hey, can you reach out to Brad and ask him if this is theirs because it was found and we think it might have blood on it, something like that. Or even if when she went on the DT show, not say, it was a bloody sweater, and then say, well, we don't know for sure it was blood. Well, you already said it was, so you can't take those words back because that's what people are going to remember the first thing you say, right? So it just seems for me that a little more investigating, which is what you're doing or supposed to be doing, could have been done before going on another channel and going live and saying that this was a bloody sweater. But like I said, if they didn't know it was Brad's, I fully agree with releasing it. I've said that since I got it in November, early November.
Okay, I'll go back to Charmaine. Charmaine, your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I've already had conversations today, and I've cleared my air on what my opinions are, and I won't pollute Sunny's chat with them. However, I disagree on some level and agree on some level. I think that if you're going to put information out there in order to get information back in, like putting this picture out there in order to get more tips and more information in, then you've got to do it responsibly and accurately. And there was no picture put up on the screen. It was just words from a phone call that we were listening to. So when I was listening to it, and she said the blood-soaked sweater wrapped in a towel, and I knew that wasn't accurate, and I waited for them to pull up a picture so we could see the blood-soaked sweater wrapped in a towel, and it wasn't until DT said it was soaked in blood did she say, well, I don't know for sure if it was blood, but still didn't correct that nothing in this picture is soaked in blood. It was just left
Okay.
out there like there's this blood-soaked sweater out there somewhere. That is irresponsible. Sure, put out your information, but make sure you do it in a responsible and accurate fashion and make sure people understand what it is you're talking about. That, to me, my opinion only, is how you do it responsibly.
Okay. Now, just quickly, Charmaine. Hey, Brad. Brad's in the house, you guys. Boss man. So again, Brad is Brad Wong, also known as Boss Man. So, Brad.
Blood.
Sorry.
We can play it if you want.
Play
Nothing.
what?
I don't want to get heated again because I know what I heard. I listened to it 8 times. I know what she said.
Who?
The person that was on the DT, I listened to it. I
Oh,
watched the whole thing 8
okay.
times. I know what she said.
Well, I was gonna say. So,
Sunny.
Brad's in the house. Yes.
Sorry, I just want to clear something up because Belinda said, yes, things can be taken back. And Belinda, you're right. Things can be, but there are certain things when you say it, when you say something has blood on it, and then you go to retract that and say, well, we don't know for sure. The first thing people are going to remember is, well, they said it had blood on it. And the second thing they're going to remember is, well, they weren't sure. Right. So yes, words can be taken back. Just be more, I think the person should have been more responsible with the words that they used, I guess, is my issue.
Okay. Now I'm going to go back to what I was, okay. Thanks, Melissa. Now I'm going to go back to what I was saying here. Brad is in the house right now. So Brad, question for you, if you don't mind. I know I asked you about the sweater and the blanket, and you said that they're your daughters because you went and asked your wife. The mat, is that from your household as well? And is there anything that you know of that had blood or was blood soaked, or what any of those, say, brownie ready looking colors that perhaps were blood, or was it like the bath mat, for instance? So that's what kind of people are like. We already know that you don't know how it got down Lansdowne Road. Hi, Ian. I seen you. But the mat, was this from your property, from the fire pit as well? And do you know anything about what was on this mat that would give it some sort of soiled look to it on there? So again, I mean, Brad's in the house, might as well ask him. Yeah. Now, and just to go back to my thing on this, so I really don't know much about Chrissy or her PI stuff or anything like that. I do believe in, of course, always doing your due diligence, the best that you can. So if you're representing a PI for the case, then yeah, it's probably, I mean, I get what you're saying about the wording of it, because if there's one thing that, it's one thing to assume that these are possibly, perhaps bloodstains, but we don't know type of idea. But if it came across like that, like this item was soaked in blood, and, it does give people a wrong impression right away. So I always believe in due diligence to doing things, but yet by the same token, I'm not here to I'm only here to clear the things up and do what I do on this channel. I'm not here to be anybody's judge and jury or watcher, but I absolutely believe that we should do always our due diligence first. Now, I don't agree with the fact that like I said to you before the live, I don't think that anyone would have thought to say, hey, Sonny, can you ask Brad if this belongs to him? That was just something that I decided to do. Now, again, had I not, this thing could have ran like wildfire, and it would have, absolutely, but it was because of Charmaine's live that I saw that picture and I thought, hey, I'll just ask. And then, okay, let's put at least the fact that belongs, that Brad said that belongs to his daughter, and the blanket and the sweater. I didn't ask about the bath mat, like I said, right? And so then it just became about, okay, well, I hate the fact for there to be false information out there. So let's just straighten it up. And then there are people that will not give two shits what I've just said. And then there are other people that will be like, okay, well, we already know that this doesn't belong to, say, Jack and Lily or whatever, or part of the investigation for the most part of anything. But who took that blanket is a whole different story, and sweater. Like, who would have taken it down all that way? Don't know. No idea. Can't answer that one. Brad can't answer that one. So, again, are people going to run with that part of it? Probably. Don't, again, I just, like I said, I'm sorry, but like I did hear it on DT, but after, like, no offense, but after 5 minutes, I just couldn't stand listening to it. And so I just ended up turning it off, to be honest with you. And so, I'm here just to find answers for Jack and Lily. I'm not into the land of make-believe and BS and stuff like that. And that's all we want to put out there. So yeah, you do have to do your due diligence, or you should. you should do your due diligence when you're putting out information. Absolutely agreed to that. Regardless, right? We all, as creators or people, should, well, creators for sure. PIs though, absolutely too. Anyone that's in a position where they're inserting themselves as part of the case, I don't care if it's a lawyer or a PI and stuff like that. Everybody has to be accountable for what the stuff that they put out there. Go ahead, Charmaine.
This changes things. I mean, read the screen. That changes things. There you go, you guys.
So negative. The bath mat did not come from my property, which is really fucked up. Someone would take that and do such bullshit. Makes me sick how these hillbilly fucks around here are fucking with this. Okay, so the bath mat did not belong. Okay,
It does change things.
I just
now clarify
was
with Belinda because that was wrapped up in the blanket. So this is something.
They
There
were
you
all
go.
three wrapped up together, so it does change
Right.
things. As far as the sweater
Certainly.
and the blanket, no, it doesn't. But that bath mat, and I agree with Belinda. How did it get to where it was? Because it was
Yeah.
so far away from Brad's property. And
She's
now
only
that we know that the
5 months.
bath mat itself was not Brad's, it does change things a little bit.
And it should be checked up DNA.
Yeah. Well, yes, absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. Like, I'm glad that Major Crimes or whatever at least wanted it to, because who knows what DNA possibly could be on there. You know what, Brad? Thank you, because I didn't even bother to ask you about the bath mat because Belinda had said that it was like rolled up. I just figured, well, the bath mat, I'm just kind of looking at the major things that are in the picture that was shown, but I didn't even bother to ask you about the bath mat because I just assumed, that's what happens when you assume, that was part of the property, the fire pit stuff as well. So thank you for clarifying that. So I mean, what are your guys' thoughts about that now, right? Because
Somebody took it from Brad's, apparently. This is, assuming. But if it's correct that Belinda found it wrapped up in the blue blanket, which I've got the picture of it, still wrapped up, untouched. Somebody took the sweater and the blanket and put this bath mat with it for whatever reason, and, wrapped it up pretty tightly and put it down in a ditch. It's
Yeah.
bizarre to say the least. And who would do that and why? And we know there's certain quiet conflicts going on between certain neighbors, but you know what I mean? Now this is something that should be investigated. I apologize. In my opinion. Not telling
Well,
anybody how to do their job.
yeah, no, and honestly, honestly, I feel like it is something that should definitely be tested or definitely looked at, regardless. Like, how the hell did it get there? Now, Ken says, what doesn't, I think he meant to say fit, is if the Batman wasn't Brad's in the blanket, was dry, how could they have been in the burn pile?
This is Kent using talk to text. What if the bath mat wasn't Brad in the blanket? Bath mat.
Yeah, I'm sure there is more than one blue blanket in one of those shirts. What's the chances, though, Kent, of what's the chances, Kent, really, of a blue blanket and a sweater that is that his wife Mary says that is their daughter's, that somebody in that same area has a blue blanket and a sweater? That's like a no-go on the ratio on that one, I believe. That doesn't
Brad,
make
do you
sense.
have
Something.
What, Melissa?
if he has cameras on his property?
So I too have the picture where it's all rolled up, right? So,
Well, can I see that picture? Can you
and
send
this
me it?
is Yeah, I will. Let me speak in hypothetical here. Sunny or Sharp, will you send that to Sunny real quick while I'm talking? So, hypothetical, guys. This is not fact. This is just me thinking out my brain on the fly here. So, the shirt and the blanket, because it's a blanket, not a towel, first of all, was in Brad's fire pit. Okay, the bath mat is not Brad's. Somebody says, oh, well, we're going to do such and such a crime, but we don't want to wear our own shit. So let's go get somebody else's shit and put it all together and roll it up, right? Like, I know the chances of that are really, really, really low. But the fact that they were all rolled up tightly together and the bath mat's not his, that means somebody else had to roll them. So that person's DNA is going to be on these other items, in my opinion, only. So that is important. And I think it's bullshit. I'll just put it like that. That once the family found these items, that they had to have somebody else go collect these items and have that person was on camera the whole time doing so. That is wrong. The RCMP or major crime should have come out and collected it themselves, in my opinion. I think that is a lack of judgment on major crimes' part. Whether or not they thought it had something to do with the case or not, it should not have been another person taking this to them.
Why is
That is where I have an issue. And then I have an issue with the bath mat not being Brad's, but it all being rolled up together in this neat little cocoon bubble, as you see here. So that doesn't happen by chance. Who did it? Why did they do it? Those are the questions we should be asking.
I also sent you another screenshot of the non-ditch that it was found in.
Whoops. Okay. Well, okay, so that's what I was confused by, because Belinda said like it was like down a ditch or something, right? She said she saw like 5 mounds or something, and then on whatever, then it wasn't like you would just see it, that you had to look down, and it was like there. So would you is this classified as a ditch or not a ditch?
Well, look at the other picture that I sent you and choose for yourself. The words that were told to me when I got these pictures was a ditch. So,
Well, that's a ditch. I'd call that a ditch or a ravine or whatever.
See that second picture that I sent you?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Oh.
1 second. The one that's, you can see it from the distance.
The one that it's a video, but this is just a snapshot. It's
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
screenshot.
I think this is one you're referring to. 1 second here.
So my question is somebody trying to frame Brad? And that's really sad if that's the case, because he hasn't done anything and he has nothing to do with this except for having the courage, and I'll use that word, to come forward and say, I heard a vehicle that night. I heard it going up and down the road. I would consider that a ditch.
I mean, it looks like a ditch, but Kent doesn't like my wording. So
it was an embankment.
An embankment is the side of a ditch.
I was gonna say that, like, I would classify that as a ditch. That's the word I would use. A ditch is a ditch.
Okay, so I know you hate this word, Sonny, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate. It is on the embankment, not in the ditch, because the ditch would be the bottom part, according to Kent then.
I'm not potato, tomato shit. It's down an embankment in whatever, the ditch. Like, seriously, we're not going to play word salad, are we? On this. So, but
come on, like, why not?
But it's a ditch. Yeah, I mean, who cares? Bottom line is there's the picture. This thing was found down Lansdowne Road, and yeah, like what's it doing there? Like why would it be there? Um, you know, with a bath mat that Brad's saying is not his, and then yet the sweater and the blanket, and the chances of it being a duplicate that somebody has that out there would probably be next to nil. You know, it's Canada, it's a ditch. That's what we
Well,
call
the
it.
fact that the bath mat is not Brad's, I'm glad Belinda found it, and I'm glad it's out there, and I'm glad it's in Major Crimes' hands, right? Because it does need looked at, especially now that we know from Brad's own mouth that that bath mat is not his, but you can see that it's all rolled up tightly. So that is important.
Yeah. The only person to me that would want to frame Brad is Daniel Martell. That's the only person I can think of, because him and Janie bash him as much as they can about stuff. And then, of course, DT went off and, about the whole neighbor thing and stuff like that for a while. I personally, it's one of those things like, it crossed my mind. I'm like seriously, is someone trying to like frame Brad as if he had part of it? And the only reason why I was thinking that is because Belinda said that Daniel had told her that it was a blue blanket at first, and then changed it or something to the pink blanket. That's correct, right? That's what you said, Melissa, the other day, and I think that I've already heard that before. I just never paid attention overly to it. Is that correct?
I think she stepped away. What are you asking?
Oh, about like that Daniel had told Belinda originally that it was a blue blanket, and then changed it and said it was a pink blanket.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So of course when I can't I can't help but always think of how many times that Janie and Daniel keep pointing the finger at always about Brad all the time, about how he revs his truck during the search, how he somebody that broke into their place and into her trailer, and they're always referring to that neighbor type of idea. And so there's that little piece of me inside going, because I absolutely 100% believe that Daniel Martell planted that blanket in the tree, the pink one. And, it wouldn't shock me of him to try to plant, things to take away from himself and stuff like that. So that's kind of where that piece of me comes in, just thinking about Daniel Martell and the whole bullshit, his bullshit. And yeah, so I don't know.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at earlier was,
I need a drink. Bear back. I'm
you
still
do
here.
something and then you're like, oh shit, we got to cover this up and we can't leave our tracks. Like, I know that's far out there, but I mean, I don't know, that my brain works weird. Maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know. That's how I see it. Like, why is it?
It will be interesting to see if that bath mat or something comes back to the household of Daniel and Malaya in that trailer. Like, it will be interesting to see if any of that DNA would somehow be on the bath mat. And then if hypothetically, if that was the case, then it would kind of tell me that possibly someone's trying to, frame Brad there. If that did happen, that DNA came back to show that mat was from their household, can't help it. You got to think of everything, and again, Daniel does everything but take any sort of responsibility for anything. And yeah, and I'm sure right now, I just got to say this out loud, because I know that Daniel Martell, who still watches social media and crap, I can guarantee you that his ego is that big that he literally thinks that because he's not talking that much, that that people are, not talking about the case as much, or, different stuff like that, because that's how his ego works. But, the fact is that Summer Wells information came out. There's people that follow a lot of other cases, and Jack and Lily's case, regardless, is stagnant. Like, there's nothing more Daniel Martell can say to me at all that doesn't make me yawn anymore, because I'm so bored of his BS, but we always, it's like Sebastian Rogers' case. You just get to a point where there's not a lot going on. We don't know if there's more documents coming out and when they are coming out. Again, last I heard, we don't know when they're coming out, or even if they'll come out. That's between the newspapers, the lawyer, and between obviously RCMP and what's going to come out. Don't know, but I can just see Daniel Martell in my head, just going kind of like, stroking his ego, thinking that, well, you know what? Look at everything's kind of more radio silent since I stepped away, and of course when I'm talking, then everything, well, I mean, part of it's true, I suppose,
I pray to God that RCMP takes it seriously and tests. Well, for sure, now we know for sure the bath mat, but even the other items for touch DNA, because like I said, somebody had to roll it up, and you can roll out Brad and his family, and so if there's, let's say, hypothetically, Daniel Martell's DNA on it, well, how did that get on there, right? Like, it wouldn't have. I hope to God that they really do test this stuff for DNA.
It's over. Okay. Belinda says it was a question. Belinda quickly says that it was over an embankment that was filled in, not a ditch on the side of a road.
And then Daleen had said that it was just off of a pull-off that had crush, which I'm assuming is what you guys call gravel, not in a ditch, is what she said as well. So I look at it as a ditch, but okay. I mean, if that's the case, then
again, that to me is just word salad at the end of the day. Because I would classify that as a ditch just by looking at the picture, even if it's not technically the right term. A ditch is when you're beside a road and then you look to the side, that's called a ditch, right? That runs alongside of it. But this picture, I'm not really sure exactly, because there's a road there, but usually the ditch runs parallel, down parallel to the road. But this looks like it's hard to tell, because this looks like it's like the roads in the back there was what it looks like, and this is running like T-bar shape to it. Am I right
so
on that?
Daleen said it's not along a road. So, like you're saying, the road is back there in the back. So this is like a T shape, so it's not along the road. Is that what you're saying, Daleen?
Like, I don't know. I didn't see
yes, it's a pull off.
It's a pull off.
So it's not alongside the road. It's like in a little pull off area. So to me, it would still be considered a ditch, but like you said, ditches, usually run parallel. So it's a ditch alongside a pull off, but for me, it would still be a ditch. To others, maybe not. But I understand what she's saying as to where it was.
I'm only seeing a picture, but this was a video, correct?
It was correct.
Okay. Do you have that video, Shimmy?
Negative.
Okay.
Negative.
So
it was literally the video that the fella took to, to document his collection of the evidence, because he was a private citizen, right? This was days later, so he to protect himself and the integrity of that evidence, he had to videotape all of his moves while he was there collecting it, right? It was very smart to
Which
do
again,
that.
it is, but again, that's a failure on major crimes and RCMP. We go back to Delphi. They looked at a bloody tree and said, oh, it's not evidence. They looked at sticks on the girls. Oh, that's no evidentiary value. But it is. And they need to look at it. You know, let's just hypothetically, that bath mat comes back to Daniel Martell's residence. The fact that you had to have somebody else go out and collect this evidence. Yes, there's video proof of it, from what I understand, from start to finish. The fact that you had to have somebody else do that and you didn't do your job yourself, to me, is incompetence, because you've now handed the defense a chance to say, well, they messed with it or they did something to it. Well, that you've handed them that. And that is very irresponsible. Luckily, the person who went and got it had foresight enough to have gloves and a bag to put it in and keep it on video the entire time and all of that. And that is great. But it should have not been on a citizen to do so. It should have been on major crimes. They should have said, we'll at least come check it out.
Sure. And I mean, can we clarify with the people, like Daleen and Belinda? So the contact that Please Bring Me Home with, from, am I wrong when I say it was a RCMP contact that day that was taking information or pictures or whatever and trying to verify if it was relevant or not with family members? And then they'd tell, Please Bring Me Home, yay or nay. And 100% of the time it was a nay. They didn't want to collect anything, but that was an RCMP. And then when, frustration by Daleen and Belinda and other people, obviously, and they called their major crimes contact and explained this particular find.
Whoops, sorry. You did
Major
me.
crimes was interested in it. Maybe I misunderstood that wrong. It's been weeks since I heard the story, so I mean that's important to know too.
Just quickly. So Belinda sent this picture, and I know she was talking about the 5 mounds, right? She said like there was like 5 little mounds. So where in this picture was this blue blanket found then? Was it just like past this this gray mark, Belinda?
No, they didn't, Murray. It was a private citizen. And it was
Yeah, I
taken
was
to the
just going to say
Stellar
the same thing. So,
detachment and handed to major crimes. They did not collect it.
correct.
Correct what?
So Marie said that, let me go back up here. Major crimes collected it, and that's factually incorrect. It was found by Belinda, and it was collected by somebody else that is on Daleen's team, and it is on camera, it being collected, and then driven to the RCMP detachment, and then handed over to major crimes. Major crimes, nor RCMP, nor Please Bring Me Home collected, bagged, or tagged the item itself. It was on a citizen on their side that did so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, let's just get the facts out there, because misinformation is the devil here. We're not going to get anything solved if misinformation keeps being put out. So that's, again, Sunny and Char are really good about making sure that it's factual information that's getting out.
Trying. Daleen said, yeah, and honestly, about the whole ditch thing and whatever. Again, that's just honestly word salad still. People can, you know what I mean? I see the sky is blue and somebody might think that it's freaking green or something. But I'm just, in proportion to this picture that's in front of us. Where did Dalene's comment? She said, forward to the edge of the clearing to the right. Forward of the edge to the clearing to the right. This way. On there. So, I mean, it's too bad that both pictures weren't as one to see it in there. But anyways.
So the 5 mounds is what you're showing now, Sonny?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm trying to understand? So this is close to where the blanket was found?
Yeah. Well, Belinda said something like they drove by and something about 5 mounds of dirt, which you can see in the back. Like they look like titties all fucking lined up in a row there. And then anyway, she comes back, and I think it was, and or however it was, she said. And then basically you couldn't just see it to see it, right? You would have to go and look down, and then you saw it there. So it wasn't visually to the eyes until you actually went down, overlooked the embankment or whatever, and looked down and then saw it. And again, why was it there?
Okay, so then it couldn't be seen from the road, is what I'm understanding, correct?
Say that again.
Blanket. Okay, so I'm trying to understand here. So either Belinda or Sonny, if you could answer me. So you couldn't see the blanket from the road. You actually had to get out and walk around, essentially, to see it.
Yeah. She's saying these are from the dump truck, which I guess the clearing or whatever, and it was found to the right of the dirt of the dirt loads. Okay, so maybe is it like here, like this area, Belinda? And it was found to the right of the dirt loads. The embankment is about 9 feet down.
So my question to Belinda then, on that note, why did you guys get out and look? Or were you just looking to see if maybe there was something down there? Or did you see it from the road? Because that's where I'm a bit confused on that. Like, did you see it from the road, Belinda?
She didn't see it from the road.
No, I'm sure they
Which
were out
means she would have had to
searching.
get...
What do you mean? Literally out walking, searching.
Right.
Okay. So what I was thinking then, that's what I had initially thought. And then I was thinking, well, they were in a car. So it is what I originally thought. They were out actually walking and searching.
So apparently, you guys, it was John that Nick was in contact with that day. So apparently Major Crimes didn't want anything to do with this. I'm not sure who eventually was contacted and said, yes, okay, whatever, meet me here or whatever, collect it. But apparently John was the contact that day, the Major Crimes lead investigator. So
Okay, so Belinda said we were searching for another item and we drove past these and I wanted to stop and look. Okay. Well, like I said, at first I thought you guys were on foot when I had talked to you previously. And then I thought, well, no, you guys were driving. And then now, okay. So that clears that up because I was trying to figure that out.
Right. Oh, and another thing I quickly wanted to touch on too is like, I don't know what's going on with this whole Malaya in some sort of psych ward stuff and stuff like that. I mean, I've asked her sister and she has no knowledge of it whatsoever. I even re-asked her again today about that. And she has no knowledge about some sort of psych ward. So I don't know. I feel like there's a bunch of bullshit going on with that stuff again as well. You know, I don't know. What do you guys think? Because like I asked Haley and she didn't know nothing about it. You know, and I asked her again, like, is there anything that you know of with whether she was in counseling or, you know, whatever? And she's like, nothing that she's heard of at all. So where's all this?
know?
Go ahead.
I do know that both her and Daniel are mandated to attend therapy and counseling in order to
Mm,
keep seeing Meadow.
Meadow,
But as
yeah.
far as the latest claim, I don't think the only person that I know for sure has confirmed it is
Hmm.
Daniel.
Right.
So
And that means shit, right?
Right.
not only because of his reputation with being inconsistent or however you want to put it,
Right.
but he supposedly doesn't have contact, right? So how would he
Mhm.
know? So
Right.
there's really no way to verify that
Verify that.
information.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this though. Personally, um, and and this is not meant to be cold. I just feel like that two people, Daniel and Malaya, have acted absolutely without a question, of a doubt, uh, weird, strange, absurd, disgusting with regards to Jack and Lily missing. Personally, I would love for Malaya to break down and and perhaps feel guilty and want to, like, because a female, sorry, but females are wired differently than males, and I don't see Daniel ever coming forward to really give us truth. He's not known for it, and I doubt that's ever going to come. But Malaya, I really hope that if there's knowledge from either of these two people that inside that Malaya, at least the mother of these two children, would break down because the guilt of knowledge would be wearing on her and stuff like that. And I truthfully hope that that she is internally having anxiety and suffering if she has any sort of knowledge about Jack and Lily's disappearance. And I believe, in my personal opinion, that they both do. And two kids just don't disappear. And not only on top of that, two kids disappearing, you got these strange parent, step parent, whatever parent, fairly odd parents, whatever you want to call them, acting this way. And so, bottom line is, all I
Wasn't that a,
actually care about, eh?
I said, wasn't that a cartoon? Fairly Odd
Yeah,
Parents.
yeah, some fairly odd parents or something.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me personally, I know it's going to take for the RCMP to gather their evidence of whatever that they have in regards to Jack and Lily. But for me personally, I don't really have this big sympathetic ear to Daniel or Malaya at all, because what I see in front of me is nothing that I would feel sympathetic for by the actions that they have shown in regards to two missing children. And that's not to be heartless and cold. I'm just not one to feel sorry when I feel like a bunch of bullshit's going on and it involves two children. All I care about is what happened to Jack and Lily. They are the innocent ones here in all of this. Daniel and Malaya are not innocent by no means when we look at all the big picture about the children's environment, the drugs that were being done in the house, all that stuff. There's no sympathy from my end about that. So I clearly hope that Malaya does break down, feel guilt inside, that she gives more knowledge of what happened on May 2nd. That's my personal opinion about that, because I'm just not here to, honestly, I'm not here to try to buttercup anything for anybody. This is about Jack and Lily and where is Jack and Lily? What happened to Jack and Lily? So yeah, those two can deal with their own demons and whatever, but I just truly hope that some guilt arises there. Of course, if Malaya and Daniel, absolutely to me, if they have knowledge of what happened to Jack and Lily, and in my opinion, I believe that they do. And I know that time, can sometimes take longer when it comes to the truth coming out, especially if it's a harder case where they lack evidence and stuff like that. But sometimes patience has to be a virtue, even though I'm not very patient when it comes to children and bullshit, and not from the parents, not from people that are showing deception. No sympathy here
Well,
for that.
so
Breakdown.
I hate sticking. I hate sticking up for DT. I do, because I don't really care for him. But he did say the thumbnail of the video, and I believe even the name of the video was New Rumors. So I give it to him that he at least admitted, in my opinion, that it was a rumor. But that being said, if you
Mm.
know it's a rumor, why is it coming out of your mouth? If you didn't see it with your own ears or see it with your own eyes, hear it with your own ears, why are you spreading it? So
About which? About Malaya?
about Malaya
Or-
being in the hospital. If Malaya would have been in a psych ward, I
Mm.
hope she gets to feeling better if the rumor is true. However, that being said, if the rumor is true, why? Why did you break down, right? Is it because you knew and you know more than you're saying? In my opinion, if the rumor is true that she was in a psych ward, then that's probably why. But I will give it that he at least did say it was a rumor. But
Yeah.
that even being said, I still don't feel sorry for her because it's on her. She was there.
Middle's birthday.
They are her children. They're not Janie's children. They're not Daniel's children. They're her children at the end of the day. And your job as a parent is to stick up and lay down your life for your child need be, to protect them, to raise them correctly. And
Yeah.
she failed in every aspect of that. And like you said, the real question is, what happened to Jack and Lily, and where are Jack and Lily? Those are the questions that we need answered. And there's 3 people, in my opinion, that have that answer. So whether or not she was in a hospital doesn't mean shit to me as far as, oh, I should feel sorry for her now. No, that's not how it works. If you want me to feel sorry for you, you would have been out in front of cameras begging for your children's safe return and it being genuine. And I don't feel that from her.
Correct. Question for you guys. Kitty and Cat Lady, just a quick question. She said, should every piece of clothing on the side of the road be taken in and tested to see if it matches some person out there? What do you guys think?
Not every piece, but I think that if there's something
Things that seem suspicious,
that
perhaps
looks like it could have blood on it, or if it looks suspicious, then yes, it should be tested. And in this case, there is something on it that gives it a discoloration. So yes, it should be checked. Am I saying a random t-shirt on the side of the road? No, not necessarily. But if there's something on that t-shirt, like a discoloration or that it looks like it's trying to be hidden, yes, I think it should.
Charmaine? Your thoughts?
What was the question? Should everything be collected and tested?
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
of
what would
course
your
not, but something should be. Not absolutely everything that was found during the Please Bring Me Home search, not one thing, deserve testing. I call bullshit. Like, if anything, like a blanket wrapped up and then you unwrap it and then it appears to have some kind of brownish red dried substance on it, then yeah, maybe test it. That sounds reasonable. If you open up a towel and it's got some big ass animal bones in it, doesn't seem to be related to the case. I'd say pretty fair to say, meh, we don't need to test that. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why things are sent to the professionals, the RCMP or major crimes, to determine whether or not it's, if they're interested in an item, because they know exactly what they're looking for, or what is, what I guess something that they would be interested in.
Yeah.
And I'll be back. I have to pee, and I think Ian's leaving, so I'll be back.
Okay. Now, I just quickly want to recap here. What were you going to say, Melissa?
I was just going to expand on that. Like, yes, everything should be looked at. Like, every RCMP should say, actually look at an item, anything. I'm not saying like a cigarette pack or a bottle or anything like that, but clothing wise, RCMP should actually physically look at it. But as far as testing it, only if there's something on it, again, like I said and Shar said, that is suspicious.
Okay, so now I'm just going to quickly recap. So Um, again, I just decided to show the picture to Brad, ask him if the sweater and the blanket. I didn't ask him about the bath mat because I just assumed that kind of like they were all part of the same kind of collection or from his fire pit. So Brad had sent me a voicemail, which I played. Do I still have it? I might play it again. Do I still have it up here? Okay. So I'll put this up here. So where Brad's home is, and you guys know that 1407 Gairloch Road is here. He put in a blue dot where the sweater and the blanket would have been, which was in a fire pit. And then he also said that basically you're allowed 4 garbages, for collection or whatever. And so they were decluttering the home and whatever, getting rid of stuff, and it ended up in his what you call the fire pit. That doesn't mean it was sitting right on the ashes, because who knows all what was sitting in the fire pit. But bottom line is, where is it? What did I do with this thing? Oh, well, I'll just quickly play it again. Video file. So this is what Brad had said. Okay. And again, thank you, Brad. He always said,
Brad Wong was shown a picture from sunny Austin on December 6th, 2025 at 9:40 p.m. of a blue blanket and sweater which both belonged to my daughter. We were getting out the house and thought it wouldn't be suitable to be passed down, so it ended up in the burning pile, where they only take 4 bags on garbage day.
oh, Brad said the red dot is the fire pit. Oh, is it the red dot? Okay. Now, I didn't ask Brad about the bath mat, but Brad said in this chat tonight that the bath mat wasn't theirs. But again, it was all kind of, why does it keep doing that? Whatever with StreamYards, it's irritating me. I'm going to put up a picture and then it keeps removing. Like, what the heck? What is your problem, StreamYards?
StreamYards don't like you today.
Yeah, normally I just click on a picture, it puts it up. But for whatever weird reason, it's doing strange stuff today. Remove. 1 second. Okay, that's the picture, but it's not the one I was putting up there. So where did that picture just go?
While you're doing that, somebody asked, while you're pulling up that picture, somebody asked, how many times do you see clothes, essentially? How often do you see clothing on a rural road? I mean, yeah, you see it sometimes, but that doesn't mean the RCMP shouldn't at least look at it to confirm. I'm not saying test it, but they should at least look at it. Anything within a 10-mile radius of that house, in my opinion, needs at least looked at.
So weird. Image file. Yeah, StreamYards is just being freaking glitchy. 1 second. See, it's like I'm putting up the picture of it, and it's like it's not even like remove. What the heck? What's going on? Okay, remove.
I think you might need to call
Seriously,
or message StreamYards again and be like, this is bull.
Yeah, like it's being sorry, I was gonna say it's being retarded. It's probably not the appropriate word.
I just did that. Which one are you looking for?
This one. There. Oh, okay. So he said it's where the red dot is. Okay, so correction then, because I saw the blue dot and the kind of like the blueness around it. But Brad, are you talking about the red dot to the right of the blue dot? Like, yeah, to the right. Is that what the fire pit is? Not the red dot that's to the left on the screen, but the red dot that is to the right of the blue dot, right? Where the house is, basically, in that part of the yard. Is that correct? Is that what you mean by the red dot?
Are you talking the little red dot that's between the blue dot and the L?
Yeah, let me see if I can just bring it up better. 1 second. Why does life have to be so complicated? Let's see. I just want to clarify here. No, the marker. Oh, the marker, like the one with the little black dot in it. That's the fire pit.
So the little keyhole looking
Oh,
thing?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It looks like a little keyhole looking thing. Ah, no, the marker is the fire, because you know how you can see a little red dot, kind of like right here, right, like to the right. Oh, that's where the fire pit is, eh? Oh, okay.
So the fire pit's a good distance from Brad's house then.
Yeah, like, well, yeah, clearly up the road there. Ah.
Because I was thinking the fire pit was like closer to his house. So, like, you
That's
would
why I
know if
thought it was
somebody
the
was
blue
going
dot.
through your stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if that's the fire pit, then he wouldn't necessarily know or see somebody going through their stuff. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah,
not saying it right,
yeah.
but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, easy access for everyone. Yeah, because when Brad sent me the picture, he just sent me the picture, and because the blue dot was there, I was just like, oh, that's where the fire pit is. I didn't think that it was like the keyhole looking thing off to the left there. Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, and that's kind of like why I asked him. Well, besides that, I kind of asked him like where's the fire pit? Is it like to the roadside? So obviously it's to the roadside, right? But yeah, anytime
What
I've
yellow
asked
boat?
what?
Shenanigans said where the yellow boat is? Question mark. What yellow boat? Am I missing something on the picture?
Yeah, what yellow boat? Is there a yellow submarine that I'm not sure about that's on that picture?
And you go down there. There's a yellow boat. That's what
Yeah,
she's talking about.
if you're probably on like maybe Viewpoint
Oh,
or
okay.
something like that. Let's see here. Viewpoint. Let's see here. Sometimes dashboard. No, dashboard. I always forget map.
So,
Let's.
Brad, is this fire pit just for your family, or is this fire pit like a community burn site?
Okay, let's just. Oh my goodness. Share screen. No. Okay, let's just go here for a second. Wait. Where's my Gairloch Road thing? Where's
Thank you,
this?
Brad. I was just wondering, since it was so far from your house, or looks like it's so far from here.
Oh, I spelt it wrong. Gairloch. No. There. Okay. Yeah, I don't really care. Okay. Oh, that's okay. Lansdowne. There we are. Okay. So he's showing over here is like the fire pit. Like, come on. Where are you, little doof? Like, right. Oh, come on. Where am I? Spinning around. Kind of went where it said.
All I'm seeing is the picture that you have up. I'm
Is
not
this the
seeing like
fire
a
pit?
ground view.
Is this the fire pit right here, Brad? Where that yellow boat is? Is that correct? What did he say about like is it just his? It's just his, right? This fire pit
Yeah, he said
area?
it is a fire pit for his family use only.
Okay, okay. Sonny, it just made me think of truck stops when I was young. You would see bags of clothing in barrel bins, which now I think, okay. From my family's, for my family's only use. Yeah. So, yes, correct. Oh, okay. Why are we off to the side? You know what? Stream labs, stream yard. I mean, kiss my butt. I'll make that bigger, I guess. Okay. So that's from, oh, look at that. Hey, Brad. You can see
I
right in
see the
there.
yellow.
Eh?
I said,
There's
I
a
What?
yellow
see.
boat.
Yeah. We could almost go and sit in it pretty much on Google. What else we got here? Kind of drums are those? Huh. Look like water here. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so okay. So anyone could just really go in there and kind of
And is it really visible from the road? Like, are you on the
yeah,
road right now, Sonny?
yeah,
Okay, so it
yeah,
is. It's visible from the road. Okay.
yeah. It's just here's that little bridge, right? As well. Or I don't want to call that bridge. What are they? I guess it is a bridge. This little one. But yeah. Oh yeah, it is a bridge. Isn't this is where the star was found,
Which
right?
bridge is that?
This is the that little bridge, isn't it? No. Yes. No. No, that little bridge is on McLeod Road. I don't know if this bridge has a name or not for this one. But the other one is on McLeod Road where the star was. Yeah. Okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. Now, hey, you can see the little Google Earth in this picture, eh? Can you see that on the road? hmm Quickly. Okay. So,
Oh my God,
thanks.
Cass.
Yeah. Thanks, Brad, for clearing that up because I would have thought that the blue marker was that, not the red marker. I didn't know that this is where the actual fire pit was. Maybe I should be a better investigative reporter type of thing on there. So, again, going back to kind of like the recap is that the sweater and the blanket apparently belonged to Brad's daughter. The bath mat, however, does not. So then it bears the question of why was this blue blanket when you opened it up had like a bath mat, the sweater was there something else in there? It looked like there was something else. Like it looked like
Ed Wong was showing a picture from sunny Austin.
yeah, so that was him, Brad saying that, acknowledging about the blanket. But what's this yellow thing on the side? Or is that the mat kind of flipped over to the bottom side?
That's
Probably
the
isn't.
underneath non-skid part of the mat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Is this?
Go ahead. What?
Oh, I was just asking if this is the only picture you have, because there's a kind of a wider one where you can see more of the underside of the mat.
Yeah, I don't have it. No,
Mhm.
I just have this one. Do you have it
I will send you everything that I have.
for that? That's a bridge. Did you not see water over it? Oh, and let's talk about something else. I was like that. There was a bridge. I saw water underneath that on there. But anyway, but thanks, Brad, for clearing that up, and thank you for always helping. Because I know that again, he's from the community, wants answers for Jack and Lily as well. I think it's pretty fucked up. Wonder if Brad wants me to say this. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that there was a big fuck you to Daniel, Janie, and all those people, all those relatives out there. To be honest with you. Okay. Oh, okay. I'll look at this one here. I see. Thank you, Charmaine. Um, Let's see. Got
I
some more
thought I
pictures.
sent all that to you weeks ago. Sorry.
No, you sent me one picture. You sent me one picture. I remember. And actually, I totally forgot about it up until your live yesterday. Okay, so this is a little bit bigger picture of the mat. Okay. And Brad, just to clarify,
Sunny, are you able to zoom in on that picture
if I
for
bring
people
it
so
in,
that they can see the map part
Sure.
more?
Sure. And Brad, just to clarify, if you don't mind, so the mat you said was not yours. The only reason why I'm asking is just in case all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, that is ours.
So, Sunny, I was just private messaged a question that they would like to know from Brad, and they don't want to put their name out there. So, I don't know if I want to ask it, but I will. Brad, were the animal bones that were wrapped in a blanket also from your property?
I guess he could answer that if he wants.
I mean, in all honesty, it doesn't really matter. But again, there seems to be an awful lot of things that are being stolen from Brad's property and being placed. So I get it. It's a
fair question if he knows the answer, because there was some of those animal bones
there.
Yes, they were, he said. Oh, there you go. So he said,
cool.
Brad, I'm going to go a little deeper on this one. What kind of animal was it? Can I ask you? That kind of entered I wasn't sure if it was a dog or a cat, like a family pet that, just asking for a friend, Sonny, on this one. But anyway, here's I'll pull this up. Yeah. And someone's asking you, Brad, as well. Is that your boat? I would assume so. Not. Okay, hold on. Let me just.
But I think that's awfully concerning. That.
Wait. 1 second.
I was just answering a question, Tiger. All Daniel told me was that social media just got too much. So that's all I know.
Oh, it was a goat. Thank you. Really? A goat? You got goats over there? Huh. It's like a pet? A pet goat? Huh. Just trying to picture a goat. I don't know. I know what a goat looks like, obviously, but I just mean, I'm just trying to picture goats in that area. But I don't know the area.
I would have thought for sure dog.
I know. I was thinking dog, perhaps. But there you go. We're getting another mystery solved about the bones. I'll make this picture bigger. Let's see here. I'm just going to take this down for a second. Okay. So I don't think there's anything soaked about this sweater too much. Maybe a few stains on. Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah. The bath mat obviously has, some stains, but I don't know that those look like blood stains from my point of view here. It looks like
my issue with the wording soaked in blood. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not a fair representation of what it actually was. So that was my issue.
Well, the coloring sure doesn't come off like that. just by looking at it. But yeah, I can understand. Like I wouldn't have. I don't know. I mean, I'm not looking at the, like I wasn't there to sit there and stare at this item in real time, but I get it, right? But I mean, just by looking at it, I wouldn't sit there and say it looks like it was blood stained. It looks like it's soil stained for sure. But with what? Who knows? Yeah. Awesome. Do you have a camera? But boss man, did you check your trail camera? I know Brad has some cameras over there, like out there. I was just trying to see if he answered something that I didn't see.
That was a different tip. The pink T-shirt tip that came out the same night on DT was found in the same area that the pink blanket piece was found. And I believe I sent that picture to Sunny as well. I'll resend it to you, but Sunny doesn't even know about that tip. She didn't watch the DT stuff, so I
I
don't know if
didn't.
it's worth it getting into it. So
Hi, Micmac. And sorry, what was it about? Some pink sweater you said?
no, a pink T-shirt. There were two people related to the Mackenzie side of the family who
Okay.
were said to have found a pink T-shirt in the same area that the blanket was later found in. And I mean,
Which blanket? The
there's
blanket that we showed here? This one? Or the other blanket?
no, the planted pink blanket.
Okay, that blanket. Okay.
Yeah, and there was a pink T-shirt found, and I mean that was part of the information that Chrissy put out on DT.
Yeah. I don't know if Robin, I don't know if you weren't listening to what Brad had said that we talked about a minute ago, but where were the goat bones found and why were they not buried? Well, they were buried. Like, weren't they? Like they were buried or something. And wrapped in a towel or something, but I don't know. I mean, does it matter? To be honest with you, I really don't think it matters, to be honest. If Brad says that it's from a goat and that they were his, I don't really think
I
it
have a
matters
picture of that
anymore.
as well if you want.
Yeah.
Yes,
Do you want
please.
a picture of
I
the
do
bones?
want to say, Sonny. Yeah, I do, sure. I want to say thank you to Brad because he doesn't have
Yeah.
to come in here and answer questions. So I just want to say thank you, Brad, for being willing to. Thank you for clearing some of this up. And thank you for being honest with us. If nobody else says it, I will.
I say it. You stop. You can be second in charge of that.
I mean other people in your chat, not you.
I know. I'm being a smart ass now. Hold on. So let me bring up that
Don't make
picture.
me come to Canada.
Oh, come on. Don't make me cross the border because I'm not gonna.
We'll have to meet at the border because I can't leave the country. So
Canada's
we'll have to
nicer.
meet at the border.
We're nicer. We're nicer over here, by the way.
I need to get my whole birth certificate thing figured out so I can come to Canada and visit.
Oh, no. I'm going to give them your name. Make sure they stop you before you can. Right? I'll be like this. Ask Melissa, isn't she the one that does all those drugs and tries to bring them over to Canada? Okay.
Picture of the bones.
That's that trafficker.
Hey, Brad, does this shirt belong to your daughter? One of your kids? Pretty soon all Brad's clothing's going to be around. What about this one, Brad? It says baseball
Brad,
lover
let
on
this
it.
be a lesson that you actually burn the stuff.
No problem. I know that you do. Yeah. In caps even. No problem. I want answers to what the fuck happened to these kids. And that's what he said yesterday too, right? He's just like, yeah, anything I can do to help and stuff like that, and so yeah, I'm grateful. Like I said, Brad doesn't have to speak, didn't have to talk to me whatsoever, didn't have to, but he wants answers as well. freaking 1407 is, like I said, he can see, like we've shown you, the light from Daniel's home, right? That he could see that. He was truthful about that. A lot of people questioned that as well. And then, he sent a video and did stuff like that. Because, at the end of the day, he doesn't have to, because honestly, it's kind of like, well, you can believe me or not believe me. But he keeps helping me. And just like he did when I asked him about that blanket and the sweater. And then I said, hey, by the way, would you mind sending a voice clip? Because I know what people typically want. I mean, it would be great if there was a picture, of course, not with his daughter's face, but if there was a picture of the sweater on his daughter, because some people just don't want to believe you no matter what, right? So, to me, I get it from both sides, is people always want to thirst for knowledge and stuff like that. And I always like to have receipts if I can have receipts, because again, it's just about, bringing truth and answers, for Jack and Lily. So yes, Brad, thank you.
There's always
Now,
going to be people out there that are like,
okay.
oh, Sonny's just saying it, or, oh, that's not really Brad, or whatever. So I like that you show the receipts from it, because,
we
and
can.
that, again, the
Absolutely.
voice clip, because it's coming from him, not just from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And that's why it means even more when coming from Brad, that he can was able to clarify. So, again, I didn't want things running rampant with that whole situation, but yet there's still question marks about it. Now, just quickly, Brad, just to ask, is this shirt one of your children's? So, because then we could debunk this possibly too. Charmaine sent me the bones as well. And I remember seeing this picture once, but let's just take a look as well. The bones. I mean, the bones were buried. You can tell.
Daylene is wanting to know essentially where Shar got this picture. And if I understood Shar right, this was on DT's. I may be wrong.
Yeah, she said it was on DT's.
No, it was not on DT's. There were no pictures shown on DT's. I got the pictures to substantiate what was being talked about on DT's.
Right. This was just being talked about. Patriot, Brad had already said that, like, for instance, like the sweater and that weren't deemed as passing it down and stuff like that. So, which would also reference the fact that, obviously if there was donations to go, that they would take donations in and stuff like that. Daleen says it wasn't sent from RPI to Charmaine.
And I understand, getting rid of old clothes that you can't pass down for whatever reason, because there's clothes of Nick's that, either I feel are too worn, or have holes in them or whatever, that, you toss, you don't think about it. You just do it.
Brad says, no problem, Belinda Gray. Anything I can do to help. Absolutely. So just quickly though, Brad, just to confirm or not, do you know if this shirt was from your family as well and ended up scattered around, I guess, your little local area there? If you can debunk that one and it comes from your family, that would be great. And then other than that, then there was this picture, which was where the bones, right? But you can tell that it was like under the ground or whatever there. That's how I see it.
And that it's been there for a while.
Yeah, but it just looks like, as time, or animals or whatever come by, or, I don't know. It just looks like a part of it's in the ground. Is what it looks like. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. All right.
You can check your messenger, Aileen, but no, I'm not putting it out there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this case has taken too long. Absolutely. I'll agree on that. But then again, I believe that the people on the property are the ones that know the answer myself. And so, to me, it's at the end of the day, there's been, information coming out. But really, when you look at this case, a lot of it is you can't believe the information because the information is coming from Daniel. And I don't deem Daniel to be truthful, like regardless how anyone else feels. Daniel, to me, is a very inconsistent liar about so many things. He's made himself look like, an idiot. Like there's just too many inconsistencies that you just get to a point that you don't believe anything anymore, right? It's not like these people, it's not like Malaya, it's not like Daniel, it's not like Janie are all forthcoming, with information. Janie changes her stories as well about the hushing and all the different things with the potholes and the raking. So what do you believe anymore? I don't believe shit from any of them. So I know that at the end of the day, it's going to be that when RCMP are able to have enough evidence or whatever they need to solve this mystery of what happened to Jack and Lily, that's basically what we got to wait for. So all we can do is hope and pray that anyone with information or knowledge breaks down in a ward somewhere, gives up information. Somebody else that might happen to know any of the truth, has a heart and put their selfish asses aside and give any information. I just honestly, I think it will be mostly up to the RCMP to try to figure this one out, because we're kind of at a stalemate here a bit, right?
We are, until something comes forward. I mean, somebody knows something.
Yeah. I mean, at the start of it, you're trying to put together you're trying to think of about a reasonable timeline that makes sense. Well, again, when you watch cases and you see things that don't make sense, and it's because it's nonsense or because they're trying to hide something, to me, that's exactly what this case follows. Just, like a book, 101 book of, when you're not telling the truth, what happens versus when you're telling the truth and stuff like that. I watch these shows all day long with these liars on those EMWs and all these different true crime stories. I watch these liars that didn't know nothing, didn't have knowledge. They hold to their story, blah, blah, blah. And then they get arrested for the murder or whatever, of the child. Because, again, it's the inconsistencies, it's the BS that pile up and stuff like that. So I don't think RCMP is stupid by no means. I don't think that Daniel's playing anyone for a fool for his inconsistencies and bullshit and stuff like that. And, if he would have shut up from the start, I mean, honestly, to be honest, if Daniel wouldn't have been talking, this case and any of the creators, you'd probably be down to like one or two at best that would still be following this case, to be honest with you.
Did you see Boss Man's reply, Sonny?
What did he say?
He said, no, the pink shirt did not come from my family.
Oh, thank you. Why? It's Charmaine. She's messing with me. I put it up. She put it up, and then it came down. But thank you for that, Brad. Again, you know what? If Brad's able to, because again, obviously, if other things like the shirt and the bicycle and that belong to him, so if he can debunk certain things. But let's go back to that blanket. And the sweater and a bath mat. Like,
I was just going to say really quickly, though, because kind of going along with what you guys are saying about, we have to leave it up to the RCMP, and, the information is drying up, and we don't have, there's nothing really to talk about anymore. But I keep saying that's why we have to work harder and be smarter about what we discuss to make sure that it doesn't just fade away. We have to keep it, we have to keep talking about it, but we can't be recklessly talking about shit. So it's good
right.
to have sources like Brad in the chats to verify things and to clarify things and to debunk things, and anybody else that wants to come in, any of the lurkers that are out there, if you have actual factual information that you've already reported in, but you see a channel talking about it, if it's not wrong, pipe up, and you can like message privately, but just to, clarify things that are being said wrong, but keep the conversation going responsibly.
I agree with Belinda here. Belinda, you should have Brad's email or something so that you can send stuff to him and be like, hey, is this yours? I agree with her statement there.
Or
And I agree with Charmaine. I understand getting the stuff out there, but you have to be really careful with wording and what is said when you put it out there.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, obviously they can talk on Messenger as well because, both Brad and Belinda are on Messenger and stuff like that. I'm just very grateful. Well, always to Belinda for, being a warrior to fight for Jack and Lily. The exhaustion, we're coming up to Christmas time. That's going to be exceptionally hard. The Christmas holidays always are because you think about your loved ones. And in this case, it's not a happy Christmas for the family members that want answers. It's not a, happy Christmas for a lot of people that are in that community, especially that, are just yearning for what happened to Jack and Lily, for answers to their small community over there. Again, so thank you to Belinda and you guys, right? Everyone that's really caring enough about the case to stay with it, to give the likes and support that you guys do to keep the case out there in awareness. Again, I've been doing downtime myself because I need it. I simply need it myself. It's been a 7-month long haul, but it's different than Belinda and other family members that are like living this nightmare every day with a big hole in their heart. Christmas is coming, no answers, that like we're going to be coming up. Well, it's over 7 months and like 5 days that we're at this point now. Nobody really thought that it would be this long, but we don't really know what RCMP truly has or don't have. But we know that they have a lot more than us. That we do know. And so, and then again, thanks to Brad. Thank you, Brad, so much for talking to me. He's a really great guy, by the way. I just want to say that, he's one of those ones that I know that, like I said, he has to trust you, respect you. He's not that person that just talks to everybody and stuff like that. But, he's been very kind and generous with his information that he has shared. And so, if Belinda and Brad, can talk on messengers, when they need to, because, obviously Brad's from the area and he has children himself and Mary. Mary's the perfect name to have at Christmas time, isn't it? And, but anyways, so you have, again, Brad, who has children as well, that couldn't imagine if something like this happened to his children. And that's why he said something in the first place. Okay. And then Belinda, of course, who's been a warrior since Daniel was acting like he was the only one doing anything. And Belinda's been a voice for Jack and Lily, almost this entire time publicly and stuff like that. So thank you to everyone, family members, neighbors and stuff like that. That, you know, that I get that the internet can be definitely uh, a whole different ball of wax than just listening to your local news, and that there's a lot of good, but there's a lot of bad that can come with it as well when you put yourself out there, you know. So thank you for the people that do and are and stuff like that, because the only way that Jack and Lily or answers is by the people that have knowledge, you know, share information that they have and stuff like that. So, you know,
Sonny, do we know if Earl's property, the 100+ acres that he has it been searched thoroughly? Like, do we know that for sure?
well, we don't know nothing for sure. Are you talking about his property right there on Lansdowne? On Lansdowne? The one, you know, beside
Yeah, the one
Ron
that's
McKenzie?
yes. Because, like, for me, and I'm not trying to say, accuse him. I'm just saying, if it hasn't been searched thoroughly, searching it thoroughly would put some of the rumors of there on his property to rest, because he does have such a large area, and it would be,
Well,
its family and all of that. Like, you know,
I mean, but the thing is, how would I know the answer to that? How would any of
I
us
don't
know
know.
the
I
answer?
don't know the answer. I was hoping you did.
No. All we know is that no, all we know is that we're going to hope that RCMP does their due diligence, and I don't know that they have per se, but maybe they, you know, maybe they have the answers, and for a lot of things, I don't know. But how well the yards were checked and stuff like that, I don't know. Right? We just know that at some point not that long ago that the RCMP were down at Ron McKenzie's home. We also know that there was police down at the sawmill, you know, about 4 or 5 months ago and stuff like that. You know, so all that stuff. The one thing that always sticks in my head is when Daniel, because he's so smart. When he told us about Sergeant Reddy, saying to him about, two children just don't disappear, right? And obviously, when you say that, and he's like trying to get a fall, that for some reason that always just sticks out in my head, because all I'm saying to myself is like, yeah, and there's a reason why he's saying that to you, because two children just don't disappear. So if they don't disappear, Daniel, what happened to them? Because they don't just disappear. That always just sits in my head. What somewhat of an idiot, but thankful that he actually gave us that information to tell us that, because that to me says a lot about, the fact of Daniel is not their buddy. They're there to solve a case. They're not there to be your best friend, but they'll play their games. They'll do what they need to make you feel comfortable or whatever. And they're there for the answers for Jack and Lily. And that's it. That's what they're there to do. So he can take that however he wants to take it. But we all know that when we watch the shows and that, again, to me, do you agree, you guys, with that? That it really, that one just always stands out in my head is that when he let us know that Reddy and Narc, the dog, basically said that to him. And then you saw Rob, whatever his name, McCammon or whatever, be like, something like, yeah, I remember when he played stupid about that question on the interview. He's like, yeah, we don't really know, about that or something like that. And I was like, come on now. Of course you do. You don't think that they went out there with a plan, or something like that. But anyways.
Of course they did.
Yeah. You know,
Of
but
course they
didn't
did,
Daniel?
and they were well versed in what they were going to do. It was planned out. It was pre-decided who was going to do it, so as to not make waves with the local RCMP. I mean, I'm convinced. I'm convinced the RCMP are not stupid.
Mm,
They do not just send officers in, even just dog handlers in with absolutely zero information about a case. It
yeah,
just doesn't happen. It
and
doesn't
considering
happen.
I know, considering he's a high ranking, but then did I heard that he told, I think on DT or something, that he said that he said somewhere that he got fired or moved or whatever and stuff like that. And it's like, you guys, if it's coming out of Daniel's mouth, the chances are it's not going to be true. You know, like
It-
seriously, there's truth in there, but you can't determine the bullshit from the truth when it comes to Daniel. So don't believe it. If you hear that Malaya was in a ward and that he came back to say that, well, I just find it very strange that her sister has no knowledge of this. Yeah, you know, and Daniel always tries to be that guy. So if it's coming out of Daniel's mouth, you know, and there's no receipts and stuff like that, and I have a hard time that if the sister has no knowledge of anything about her being in some sort of ward or this and that, you know, then I'm not really going to believe it, to be honest with you. But I want it to be true that she's breaking down and having a guilty conscience and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely, just like if this is and has anything to do and they do some testing and some DNA comes back on it, you know, and it belongs to the, you know, Martell household over there or something like that. It's a mixture. Well, again, I mean, the blanket came back. All right.
Can we
Again,
answer Tadpole's question here, Sonny?
yeah.
What if I let you go first? It's on the screen for you. Hang on to your butts, guys.
Yeah, Tadpole. Suck this one actually. But go ahead. Go ahead, Charmaine. Do you want to answer? You can
I mean,
suck this
I
Tadpole.
in our role here, having our own YouTube channels, we don't need any qualifications to share our opinions. However, I know Melissa has vast experience in missing children's cases. If she chooses to tell you, she can. I have
Oh, I will.
a lot of experience in criminal matters, and um, and I have education, very old education, but quite frankly, I tell people on my channel, and if you were interested, you could watch over there, I guess. But I'm not here to sell my credentials to anyone. I don't really know how that relates to having a YouTube channel. But go ahead, Melissa. Why don't you tell Tadpole how you're
Wait,
qualified to talk about true
wait.
crime?
One second. One second. The thing for that, Charmaine, that remark of Tadpole's Tadpole. You know what? Your remark was okay up until like the latter part there, where you said something about silence. Oh, look, none. Okay, that's just assholeness at its finest on a statement. So just don't just say you're just asking, because if you would have stopped at that point, but then the asshole part of you came out and said about that. So again, I mean, you know what? Go ahead, Melissa. I'm going to go suck on my Tadpole, call a vape on that. So don't get angry, Tadpole. I'm just calling a spade a spade. You learned that in elementary school. But anyways, so Tadpole, when there's ignorance behind a comment like that, yeah, have a cup of go fuck yourself. To be honest with you, not here to have to prove anything to you guys. If you watch this channel, then you would probably know some of these answers, and if you're newer to it, then obviously then you don't know. But I don't really care. At the end of the day, yeah, like Charmaine said, if you to have a YouTube channel, again, there's people that have freaking plaques behind them, and we're smarter than half of those people out there, to be honest with you, because it's about common sense, right? And it's about bringing awareness to cases. It's not about if we have doctorate's degrees or psychology degrees or this degree. Anyway, I'm going to go suck on my vape. Go ahead, Melissa.
Yeah, no, wait, that's not
So,
Daniel. Hey,
um,
girl, stop it.
so two things I want to say here. First, it's not amateur night. Second of all, Would you like me to go get my portfolio and show you all of my credentials, or would you just like me to tell you? First of all, do you want me to start in college and go on through till now? Like, explain to me the time frame that you want my credentials. I have no problem giving them. I just need to know exactly what it is you want, first of all. So, if you want to start from college, I took criminal justice, part of my college. I took criminal justice. I then was a medic for over 8 years and helped to investigate and look at many crime scenes. I've helped the police look at crime scenes and notice blood and other things like that. I have taken courses in, types of blood, drops, and what they mean. So that's my college. If you want my personal, I have worked for the sheriff's department. I have worked as a medic for over 8 years, like I said. I have a Homeland Security degree. No, they weren't online courses, honey. I went to an actual college. I don't do online courses. So I also had a missing child. So there's that. I also have a murdered child. So there's that. Exactly what is it you want me to go into? Would you like me, like I said, I will go get my folder and I will come on camera and I will show everybody in this chat all my degrees.
Oh, hey, hold on.
Because I have multiple of them.
1 second. So, you know how we can go to channels if we want and see who they are. So, do you remember seeing this picture? Right, Tiger Girl? You guys remember seeing that picture? The Tiger Girl with the little Mickey Mouse in it? Right? Busted, bitch. Anyways, so when you click on tadpoles, go to the channel. That's the image that comes up, right, Tiger Girl? With your little Mickey Mouse image there. You busted, you moron. Anyways, sorry about that, but I just happened to see that and I was like, oh, there we go. Someone that tries to come in and sit there and pretend to be this tadpole name. Right, Tiger Girl? With your stupid Mickey Mouse. Well, no, I like Mickey Mouse. I don't like you now, however. But anyways, that's because you're full of your own shit. Okay, go ahead.
Tadpole is not Daniel. I would be more apt to believe it's Durwood. But I mean, if you're asking for our credentials, where's yours? Where are your credentials? Because
Show me.
either way, you're what?
Well, I'll just show you this. Sorry, 1 second. I'll show you this again. Share screen. Tiger Girl, YouTube. Let's see. Joined November 26, 2025. That was like what? 2 weeks ago? That's an amazing channel that you just made yourself there. November 26th. Here, let me just make that bigger for you. Joined November 26th of this year, which is about 2 weeks ago. Moron. Anyways, don't you look stupid?
A tadpole is Durwood, but they're both
I will
typing
be
in here
right
at the
back.
same time, so it's not Tiger.
Did I click? I didn't click on the wrong thing. Let me just go back. Did I click on the wrong person? Did I? Wait. I did. I literally clicked on tadpole, but maybe Tiger Girl was just above it. Shit, I gotta take all that back now. I gotta take all that back now because I clicked on tadpole when I was in the back stream here. So I gotta take that shit back. All right. Go to channel. So obviously my thing jumped. So hold on. It is tadpole. Well, I mean, whatever username. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm so bad. I'm so sorry on that, Tiger Girl. That's my bad. Fucking looking like a moron. It's my bad. Stop screen. Share screen. Okay, hold on. So Tadpole. This is Tadpole's channel right there. Tadpole was nice enough to make an account yesterday. December 6th. So
Sunny.
Yeah.
Could you put me up on screen, please?
Yes, I can. There you go. My bad. Can't hear you. You're muted.
So I don't normally come on screen. Anybody who knows this channel knows that. Here's my healthcare provider. Here's my trauma card. Here's my pediatric life support card. Here's my medic card. Here's my second medic card.
Tiger, that
Here's
was
my
my bad.
Homeland Security. There's another certificate that I've received, another one. State of Indiana Fire and Safety, Emergency Medical. You want to know any more about my credentials? Or, I mean, I'll have Sonny put up a picture of my son. I'll put up a picture of his casket. I'll put up video of him missing. Is that enough qualifications for you, Tadpole, for me to speak on true crime when I have real life experience for searching for missing children? And in fact, I'll even share one with you if you'd like.
Tadpole, I hope you feel like the dickhead you truly are. Fucking putz.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I'm
I
so
don't
sorry,
come on
Tiger.
camera, and I'm staying on camera. So go ahead, Tadpole, tell me. Do I have the qualifications to speak on missing children and my opinion on them?
No, I don't think so. I feel like you could have shared more with us. Yeah.
Right. I'm not being rude. I'm not being angry. She's the one that asked for my qualifications. Here's my stack of qualifications right here. Oh, I dropped one. Hold on. Is that a big enough stack for you? Like all my FEMA paperwork and everything?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going back off camera now. Let me know, Tadpole.
Whoops. Put that back up there. I was going to say, that was a minor intermission there, but, Tadpole, whatever, Dickhead, Durwood, whoever the heck that is behind that, Daniel, whatever. You got your, 10 minutes of time, and you didn't deserve it, but you got it. Okay. Jamie's got a rake. Absolutely. Well, you know what? Honestly, unless there's something that you guys in chat want to quickly put out a question to or say or something like that, we're going to end this live right quick. Yeah. Because it's already been 2 hours and 19 minutes. Not bad, Charmaine. Yeah. I was beating you. Now I think I heard your lives were kind of like 4 hours and stuff.
I did a very long on the other hand. I cannot remember why we went so long, but whatever. I mean, time flies. It absolutely flies when you're on a live stream. It's crazy.
Oh, I know it, right? See, and you're because I'll never forget your words when you were just like, I'm not like Sunny, I know she can just talk, and blah blah blah, but that's just not me. And shit, I mean, it's
I only talk when I have feedback from the chat. You can look at your screen there and you can have something on and you can talk about it for days. And I need to have interaction. It's this, and I did not know that it was that easy to talk. I didn't.
It is, isn't it? And time does fly. Like, I mean, really, when you like, for instance, we've been on this live for 2 hours and 20 minutes, yet it feels like maybe an hour at best. Freaking some dog dying outside.
When you look up and you're like, home, okay, 2 hours and 10 minutes. Okay, let's wrap it up. And then you just start to wrap it up, and an hour later.
Yeah.
I was muffled in the beginning of what I was saying. I have no idea what I was about to say, Blue Jay. You know what I'm like? I don't know. It wasn't important. I just got a kick out of that some people think that we need to have some kind of training or credentials to sit here and give our opinions on YouTube.
Right.
Which is fine, but some of us have real life experience and education that, qualifies up. And you can be a tadpole, lurker, jerk off and have an opinion and a right to your opinion. Like, I don't understand. If you don't want to watch, you don't want to hear opinions, then go away. Just go away.
Can anyone explain? And absolutely. Can anyone explain what Chrissy was talking about with Alvin McKenzie? Does anyone know?
Negative. It
Negative.
did not make sense to me. I'm sure there is some sense to be made, but it's not my place to try to piece it together because it didn't make sense to me. So no, I can't. Maybe one day Chrissy will do it again.
Yeah. And love you, Belinda, on there, by the way.
Hopefully, if she does it again, she's more precise and clear and not all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I didn't listen to it. You talking about on DT show? You talking about on? Yeah. It's like me. So me personally, like I said, I don't pay attention at all to Chrissy or what Daleen and that's doing per se. I don't sit there and have conversations with them and stuff like that at all. To be honest with you, that stuff doesn't interest me. That stuff's more like whatever with Belinda and talking. That stuff doesn't interest me personally. But if there's information out there that again we can debunk or or talk about and stuff like that, absolutely. I'm not really into side noise to be honest with Jack and Lily.
Sonny, it's not really side noise, okay? It's a tip that they decided to put out to the public, a tip that they received that they decided to put out to the public. I did not understand the way it was presented on DT, so I don't want to speak on it. But it's not just side noise, it's a tip that they decided to put out in the public.
Yeah, I mean, I deem it as side noise. Let me put it that way. I personally, I deem it as side noise that doesn't interest me. Like until something says, like in this particular case, obviously, if we have answers about the sweater and the blanket, then obviously I don't want that to run rampant. But I deem that as side noise myself. Like I literally am in this box of information with Jack and Lily and stuff like that. The whole please bring me home search. I know that there was pictures, and different things that came out of it. And again, I didn't overly pay attention to all of it. I didn't even watch Nick's live that he did because we already had already seen the pictures or heard about certain things or whatever. So for me personally, Charmaine, I deem it as what I call side noise, where I just it might be out there in the background, but I don't typically focus on it unless I deem it as important, to the case myself. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but and it's important that we keep the facts straight or do our due diligence for sure on information as best as we can. That part is absolutely, yeah. I don't know nothing about Chrissy herself. I didn't listen to her on DT. I don't care to go listen to it on DT, to be honest with you. I'm personally, I'm just waiting for the answers to come, and that will come from RCMP. That's because that's exactly what I know has to happen here. And I don't think that this case can go further that much with information, very little, because it's been 7 months. And if Daniel is our information source for the most part, nope. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Just at a point in my head. Go ahead. What?
Yeah, for sure. But that's exactly why we have to work harder to keep their names out there.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know how many channels are covering Jack and Lily, because so many people have moved over to Summer Wells right now. I know that there's little spurts of Jack and Lily going on some channels, but for the most part, I think we got who's covering it? Daphne. And I don't
Daphne and Shenanigans. Clutch Them Pearls and Ninchi True Crime.
Yeah, Nietzsche.
And then you've got like the
And yours.
random tarot cards and stuff. Mike MX is pretty good. He does the shorter videos. Hunter S, he'll do,
Yeah.
not
His
very
video.
often anymore, but when, whatever. But I mean, there are still a few of us covering it, but it is slowing down for sure.
Oh,
Absolutely.
for sure. Yeah. Because again, like the space I'm in is true crime, the missing and the murdered and stuff like that. Obviously, so I'm one of those ones that usually ride a case for a long time and I don't really look elsewhere. Covered Sebastian's, right? And then I think that was the last one. Wasn't that the last one we did? And then, I think it was, and then this case happened and stuff like that. But
It was happening the same time Delphi was.
hey,
Sebastian was happening at the same
yeah,
time and Delphi was. Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, Zach Jackson, that's correct, right, Joe, on there. But again, it kind of, there's always kind of a route or road that cases take, and there's lots of cases out there, and again, I could sit here and cover a ton of cases if I wanted to. I just choose not to. But a lot of other people have been covering. I stayed away from Summer Wells because it was an absolute freaking circus, like right from the start. So I just stayed away from it. And I couldn't I can tell you somewhat of the case, but honestly, it just became a circus act. Sebastian Rogers became a circus act. But that's, for me, it wasn't at all what deterred me at all from Sebastian's case. It's just more that you just get to a point where I have to do everything from my heart.
Information dries up. The information dries up.
It
The
dries
factual
up.
information dries up, and
Yeah. And so, yeah, and then it becomes hard for me. Yeah, it does, because I can't do a live for the sake of doing a live. And, the bottom line for me is it's been a long 7 months of covering Jack and Lily's case. At this particular point in time, I'm simply needing a break. I have to deal with all my own, we'll call them whatever people want to say, mental health issues in a sense. So I have to have balance. And so I'm burnt out. I'm tired right now. So I'm taking time to myself. Do I think that Jack and Lily's case is going to be solved before Christmas time? No. But I'm just kind of resting up, and I'm just taking time to myself, right? So I need to do that. And so that's why I haven't been doing very many lives lately, is because I know Christmas time is coming. I got a video to make for Jack and Lily for Christmas with the ornaments that was done by people. Oh, my husband. Go ahead. Sorry, my husband's here.
go ahead, Melissa. I'm doing a submission, so can you talk?
Okay. I don't know what y'all want me to talk about. So, there was a comment I seen. Hold on, let me go back up here. Summer deserves justice. Her life mattered just like all the rest of missing and murdered. They do. Her life does matter, Blue Jay. But every creator has their own cases that they're drawn to, I guess is the way to put it. So it's not saying that hers didn't. I feel like I could right now create a channel and say I'm a psychic from everything. Right, Marie? Like, really? You don't have to be right. Just say it. I don't think Tadpole cares. Probably not. But I'm also, you want to call me out? I'll show you. Like, I got no problem sharing my credentials at all. I may not use them to this day because I can't anymore because it got to be too much, but I'll share my credentials. All lives matter, you're right. So I said I would share a story. So I think I was 2 months into being on the ambulance, and we responded to a wreck. And so then we retrieved the female patient, took her to the hospital. She did not make it. And as we were coming out, the family stopped us and said, "What about our son?" And my partner and I looked at each other because there was no child in the car. And they said, "He's autistic, he's nonverbal, and he's 5 years old." And I looked at my partner and I looked back at the parents. I said, "There was no car seat." And they said, "Our son was in that car." We went back out and we searched throughout the night. And in the early morning, we found the child. He had taken his car seat and he had fled into a field. And we did find him. But the problem with being on an ambulance and being a medic, you don't always know the outcome of some cases. And I never knew for years what the outcome of that little boy was. Years later, probably 15 years later, I found out that child had played piano in his church the week before when I was talking to a friend of mine. And she asked what my worst call was that got to me the most, and that was it. So luckily that little boy survived. Had we not went out and looked for him, had the parents not said that there was a child in the car, had they not asked us, we would have already, we had already cleared the scene. The police were gone. We were gone. Everybody was gone. My partner and I got on the radio, got police back out there. We went back out there. We found him. One of my first calls, it wasn't my very first call, but it was one of my first calls, was actually a murder. And we were tasked with tagging essentially evidence. We were tasked with informing the police what we had seen when we got on scene, what stuck out to us, what was wrong in the situation. I actually stopped the person who ended up being in trouble for it from burning evidence because they had a fire going and they were throwing stuff in it. And I physically stopped them from doing so. So I have no problem telling my qualifications to anybody. I don't do it very often, though. Julia said, "I find it strange that there's so many tips or whatever, and RCMP has, but nothing has come out from it." Well, the RCMP, they're different than in the US. We'll get information, and in Canada, you just don't get it. Joel, you said you're going to be a paramedic. It's a lot of work. And the best thing I can tell you is to make sure you are taking care of your mental health while doing that job, because it will affect it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hi. Okay. You guys, we're going to wrap this up. I got to do some laundry that I don't really want to do, but I got to anyway. But anyways, Charmaine, Melissa, thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank all you guys as well. At the end all to be all, if you could just do your part, again, hit the like, hit the share, keep Jack and Lily's name out there. Charmaine does a lot of lives and stuff like that every day at around 2:00. Well, at least my time, it's 2:00, probably. I guess 3, probably hers and stuff. What time is it typically?
Nova Scotia.
Hey?
Around 6 or 7, Nova Scotia, usually.
Yeah, and stuff like that. I still feel, I'll just say this and see what, and just you guys can answer to yourselves, but I just feel that RCMP, they have $150,000 reward out. I still do not believe in any of the hidden bullshit and stuff like that whatsoever. There's nothing to show that at all. And I just think that there's too big of a trail that would have to happen for even, that to make sense. But I do feel like the RCMP is wanting the people that have knowledge to come forward. And I think that they lack the actual physical evidence, physical. And I think that there's missing puzzle pieces, that they have probably a lot of it, what they know. But it's another thing that I still think that there's answers that they need. And to me, I still feel like those answers are going to come, or, from the people on the property or anyone that has knowledge to Jack and Lily. And if that's how I kind of feel like the case is at. And I think that there's a lots of different things when you look at, again, those things being said to Daniel from Sergeant Reddy there, and just the inconsistencies of Daniel, Malaya's weird actions, all of it combined to me adds that layer of mistruth, lies, manipulation, and that Jack and Lily, or that the RCMP are just, like I said, I think that they just lack certain information myself. Charmaine, do you feel the same? Or how do you feel?
The same.
The same. Melissa, same or anything different?
Yeah, I mean, I think the RCMP definitely has more information than we're giving them credit for. And, they're lacking maybe one piece of information, and maybe the bath mat is it. We won't know until
Well, and you know what? You never know, because that is mysterious now that Brad has let us know that a sweater and blanket are, but the bath mat isn't. So who would have taken these items and put them up down Lansdowne Road versus where Brad said that they were in the fire pit area that we showed already. So there is definitely questions about that. Will we find out the answer to that? No, we won't. Not until, right? We're not going to find out the answer to that. Not unless RCMP. But again, do remember one thing. Daniel was called into to talk with those police officers because of the pink blanket. Okay. And again, for me personally, Daniel has probably, this morning time gap of when he, I can't even get into his whole timeline. It's just, it's just all over the map with Daniel, but he was called in there for a reason. And the pink blanket and stuff like that. So just know that I believe that blanket was planted by Daniel. And I think that when Daniel said that the police said the blanket was planted, they're like, yep, absolutely, Daniel. You did it. But anyways, that being said, you guys have a great night. Not sure when I'll do another
Good night,
one.
everybody.
Pardon? Wait.
Yes, good night, everybody.
Oh, I was just going to say, I thought for a second there, Charmaine, I was like, what happened to your hair? But I was like, did you just chop your hair? But it was hiding behind you. Now I see it. Yeah. So you guys, again, with that being said, you guys have a great night. I'll just play the video out. Thank you guys all for being here. If you haven't hit the like and share, please do, for Jack and Lily. And I'll just quickly play the video file. So thank you, everybody. And, Cheryl, yeah. Cheryl's made some really cute things for Jack and Lily for Christmas time as well. I think this is what I'm going to play. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Night, Melissa.
In the woods where shadows lay, Jack and Lily went to play. On a rainy May afternoon, now we whisper hope soft too. Echoes of laughter fill the air, but where are they? We stand in prayer. Oh, Jack and Lily, where have you gone? We'll hold on tight through this endless dawn. In our hearts forever you'll stay. prayer we send your way. Hundreds gathered, hearts so strong, searching deep where they've been wrong. Through the trees and storms they roam, wishing every child came home. Fatigued but fierce they won't give in. For every soul we search within. Oh, Jack and Lily, where have you gone? We'll hold on tight through this endless storm. In our hearts forever you'll stay, with every prayer we send away. We'll keep the hope alive today. In the silence, love